Hello, I'm excited to introduce to you today your term project. Now this particular video will focus primarily on Phase 1. You may look at the term project handout located in Blackboard to see its entirety with all of its requirements. But for now, this video will focus on the development of your character bio. But first, what is the term project even going to be? As you see from the title, we are going to design a place to honor. Now, before we get into any details, so these are our goals. 1, I want to help develop your historical research skills. That includes information gathering, analysis, and synthesis by applying the precedent study method. This is one that's very common for history and one that you can use throughout your career relative to your design process. 1, I always want you to keep working on how to effectively communicate design intent, graphically and in written format appropriate to your audience. And finally, to continue to enhance your design skills through creative and original design solutions. So that is what this term project is going to try and focus on. And hopefully this could be a really cool piece for your portfolio by the end. All right, so what's our challenge that's facing us? I want you to pretend that your design firm has been contacted by a major movie studio who is seeking a creative designer to assist them in the design of a set for one of their newest productions. All interested parties must respond to the following design prompt in order to be considered. It's part of the application process. The prompt is quite straightforward. Design a place to honor a fictional character. You are required to submit your research, conceptual designs, and a written scene inside of your space for consideration. All right, so let's start breaking this down a little bit. First of all, when we think of a place to honor someone, we probably very quickly go to things that are like memorials. So here, of course, we have the Jefferson Memorial. We are honoring Jefferson for what he did to help shape our country, relative to politics and government. It is not a place to worship him, and I want to make sure that you keep that in mind as we move through this process. It will be very easy to use the word temple or shrine or memorial as we're trying to create this place to honor. I just want to be clear that we're not trying to create a place to worship a fictional character. This isn't about religion. It is simply about creating a space that we can go to reflect on what someone did because it was so momentous. All right? Well, then you might be wondering, what in the world is this image doing? Well, I'm going to require you to design your memorial in a fantasy world, a world that doesn't exist, okay? So we're not designing in reality. I'm trying to do this so that I can really unleash so many constraints or parameters, and you can be very creative in the design of this memorial. So this is just a conceptual design that someone has done for some sort of, I'm guessing, a temple at the top of a hill above a small little town. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to know who we are designing this memorial for. So first, identify a fictional character from a magical, like Harry Potter, fantastical, Game of Thrones, or extraterrestrial world, Dune, Star Wars, and then design a place to honor them based on a specific deed or event that they were involved in, or just more generally their significance to the fictitious culture that they might belong to. Now, you can choose a fictional character. Remember, that's a false character. It's a character that does not exist in the real world. Or you can even create your own. And my example is one that I've actually created. You can't find this in any book, movie, story. You can do a villain. You can do a hero. You can do something that's not quite human, like Groot from Marvel, just really opening it up for you. Just don't make it a real person or someone who kind of exists in what our reality is. So, step 1, identify your fictional character. Step 2, you want to make sure you can find a high quality, full body image of your character, because we need to see who this person is. Also because the image that you choose might give a little bit of a flavor of who they are. For example, if you chose Harry Potter, are you showing an image when he's really, really young? Is this going to be about his journey? Or are you showing him, kind of at the end when he's in a big battle with Voldemort? It's up to you. But, all the images that you choose throughout this entire process are really going to be meaningful in building a narrative. Now, if by chance you cannot find an image, which will probably be pretty rare, unless maybe you completely created your own character, you will need to offer a written description so that we know what they look like. We just need to know who they are. One way to kind of work with this is you could also get some conceptual ideas for who your character might be. If you go this route, talk to me about it, and we will strategize to find the best way forward for you. So, we've got a character, we have an image. Now, we need to provide a brief description of who they are and why they are being honored. So let's take that first one. In this case, who is she? Who is Athena Justice? Well, so this is a little short paragraph that I wrote. Menelape watched as her sister Antiope, who was the mentor to Diana, aka Wonder Woman, died on a beach in Themyscira. So I'm tapping into the world of Wonder Woman, this kind of fantasy world, and the first movie, obviously. Enraged by the plague that is man, she, Menelape, swore to not only avenge her sister, Antiope, but also protect the downtrodden. The goddess Athena witnessed the events of the death of Antiope and gifted Menelape with a belt blessed by both Zeus, giving her the power of lightning, and Hera, the ability to heal. Recognizing her new purpose, Menelape adopted the name of her mentor, Athena, and the one thing needed most in the modern world, justice. Okay? So here we have a brief description of who is this person. So no matter who you choose, even if it's someone like Harry Potter, everyone knows Harry Potter, how you describe them is important because you only have a few sentences, and that's going to give us an idea of how you're focusing on this individual, what side of them you might be dealing with. Well, now, why would we honor him, her, them, it, whatever? So here's my next paragraph. In an epic battle to save the planet, Athena Justice expended all her energy to heal her teammates, each a breath away from death, so that they might continue to fight. Weakened, helpless, and exposed, she fell to the invading forces before her team could protect her. In the end, however, they won the war. For her bravery and dedication, the goddess Athena created a new constellation in the stars so that humankind would never forget the sacrifice of her beloved Amazon. All right, so what we've done here is I've created a little bit of a narrative on this fictional character so that you can kind of understand what direction I might be going as I move towards the design of a memorial for Athena Justice. Remember to be creative, remember to have fun. The final step is just putting these components together. So design a page layout and organize this information that I've asked from you so far. Here's what I've done. So on the left I have my image. The image is really quite important, so I've made it quite large. I've given you her name, Athena Justice. I did do the AKA that she was also known as Menelape. If I finished this project, I wouldn't actually necessarily need to do that because Athena Justice is the name of the character that I'm really moving forward with. And you see that I've got my two paragraphs here. Well, you might be asking, well, what's this down here? These are just some graphic images that I pulled, one to emphasize that she's a healer, that she does have the power of lightning, and that she protects people. You know, for me, this kind of starts to give additional, very simple graphic information. I've also pulled this character from a video game, if you haven't figured that out. I actually play this character in my game, and this is what she does. You know, she does have the power of lightning, and she is a healer in the game. You don't want to pull out just some basic Word document, throw an image in there, pop a title up at the top. Don't make it look like it's part of a book report. Remember, you're submitting to very creative people. They want to see your design chops. So design appropriately. And be careful not to over-design a background. Backgrounds can detract from your content, and you never want that. You just want to make sure you can show them that you've got control over the design elements and principles on a 2D problem. And your 2D problem is one page. All right? Now, feel free to ask questions via Teams or send me an email. Drop by my office if I'm available. I will also respond to questions at the beginning of class on January 14th. Please remember to complete all work early. Always assume something will go wrong at the last minute. Always give yourself time to deal with emergencies should they arise. Why am I? So, this first phase is due Sunday, January 16th by 11 p.m. on Teams. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time. Don't try and start this at 10 o'clock and rush through it and try and put it on submit by 11 o'clock. Because remember, at 11:01, the late submission policy is in play and you've already lost 10% of your grade. Okay? So give yourself plenty of time for the unexpected things to happen. So try and tell yourself, I'm going to finish this by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, get it uploaded, and once it's there, you've checked it, you can feel good and not be stressed out for the rest of the evening on this particular assignment. Okay, I hope you have fun with this first phase and all the phases of the term project, and if you have any questions, we'll talk about it in class.